Welcome everyone to the podcast. Today we are going over my journey as an author, and I'm so excited to talk about this today. So what was my inspiration and process to start writing novels? So my inspiration and process to start writing was quite a unique experience. So it's kind of a random story, but I was researching languages that are extinct, and it was a very random day, and I learned about how the Hebrew language was once extinct and that it was revived in an incredible revitalization of culture, and now there are millions of people worldwide that speak Hebrew. And it once was a language that was only spoken by rabbis in church, and it was pretty much like Latin, like nobody spoke it, but it's the only revitalization known in the world to have brought a language back. And so as I was learning about this, I was so fascinated, and I came across this story about an author who translated Journey to the Center of the Earth. I think that's what it was. It might have been something else, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and they basically translated it into Hebrew, and it was one of the first literary works translated into Hebrew, and it helped, learning language students to learn the language. And I was so fascinated by this and so inspired by this because my family has also a language that is nearly extinct. I am mostly white American, typical girl, but actually I was born in Canada. I was raised in the USA, and my dad is from the Gitxan tribe in British Columbia, Canada, and basically this language of Gitxan is becoming extinct slowly but surely. There are fewer and fewer speakers, and basically it hasn't been a very highly documented language. There's a few apps that have a little bit, I've tried learning this language even myself on these learning apps that the tribe made, but they're really hard to learn from because there's just not a lot. And there's basic words like food and how are you, there's nothing detailed. And so I had this idea. I was like, what if I wrote a novel like that person who translated Journey to the Center of the Earth, and what if I translated it into my Native American language of Gitxan and asked my grandmother and other people who are native speakers to help me translate this novel. And so as I was so fascinated by this idea, I was like, this is an incredible idea. I'm going to go for it. So I went for it, and my other inspiration for starting a novel was I decided to learn about science fiction novels. And I was so fascinated because Jules Verne, one of the greatest novelists of all time, he basically wrote about submarines in the 1800s, and he had never seen a submarine. Submarines had not even been invented when he wrote about them. And he basically predicted that submarines would come to pass because in his books, he had pretty much a submarine in his book, and it was a science fiction novel. And he had no idea that these submarines would ever be a real thing. He was just writing about them, and he created this idea of them. And I thought that was so cool that something science fiction was actually a new invention. And so I decided to write science fiction. I was like, okay, so I know I want to write a novel. I know I want to get it translated into Gitxan, but I wasn't sure what genre I wanted to pick. But after I read about how he wrote science fiction, how inspired I was like, I want to write science fiction. That is the coolest genre ever. And little did I know, this experience literally changed my life in the best possible way. In fact, I credit writing with saving my life, actually. I was kind of in a depressed spot. I had gone through a miscarriage. I was trying to start a family, and I was really in a low spot in life, and I started writing this novel, and I was like, I'll just try it out for the fun of it. I have no idea if anything will come of this. I don't even know if I'll finish this novel. I was just going for it, and I was like, I really, really hope that I can, do a good job. I had no idea if I could even finish this novel. I was like, this might start out as a little hobby project that just never gets finished, but we'll see about that. So late one night, I had this thought. I was like, oh my gosh, what if there were 5 friends traveling in space and just their adventures? And so I stayed up for 2 hours and I just wrote my outline for this story. And I have no idea where the story came from. Like, I honestly, now looking in hindsight, I believe in angels and guardian angels. So I really do believe this story came from my guardian angels, because there's no way, like, I could have just randomly pulled out of my butt this science fiction story about 5 friends and, them traveling through space and all their adventures. And, like, it was just so random. Like, I never would have thought of this story. Like, and it was in the middle of the night. I'd never written a book, never even tried to write a book. And, like, all of a sudden I was sitting writing an outline at 2 a.m. on this story. And it was so random. And that's why I really feel like there may have been some fourth dimensional intervention on this one, which I'm so, so grateful for, because without them, like, my life would be so different. And I'm not even a published author yet. Like, I've literally only finished my novel. I've written the first draft. It's 74,000 words. And I'm currently working on 3 other novels now. So it drastically changed my life that one night where I sat up and wrote this story outline. And I remember, like, I let the story outline sit. Like, I thought nothing of it. I was like, whatever, like, I don't know if anything's gonna come of this, but it's just for fun. And so one day I sat at my computer and I was like, I'm going to try and start this story and write a chapter. And I sat down and I was like, I have no idea what to say. Like, I've legit no idea. Like, I just sat and stared at the computer and was like, crickets were chirping. I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, this just, like, could be the dumbest book ever. Like, it really. And I just started typing, and the first words that I remember, like, just off the top of my head, I wrote, Serana was sitting in her college dorm room bed, and she had her furry elephant, Mr. Winkles, and was just feeling lonely, being in college. And that was, like, my first sentence. Like, I was like, I have no idea where this is gonna go. I really hope that, like, I can keep writing. Like, it was the cheesiest start. Like, it was just about her sitting in her dorm room in college, like, looking at the stars, and was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but whatever. She was feeling kind of lonely, feeling kind of friendless. Anyway, so I was just like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done, sitting and writing a novel. Like, honestly, like, it was so weird to me. I was like, I don't do stuff like this. I really don't. And I'm not a creative. And I was just like, okay. I wrote 1 paragraph and I was done for the day, and I was like, good enough, I'm done. And little did I know that it would literally change the course of my life. Like, I had no idea how far this project would go, and that I'm still in the midst of finishing, but it has already changed my life and lives of my family members and of my friends, because so much happened after that. As a result of my writing, I started talking to my family members and having them edit things and review things, and they were so inspired by my writing a novel and being creative that they were like, I want to try to do this too. And so a couple of my family members now are writing their own novels, and it helps them be more creative. It helps them, like, feel like, okay, like, I can do something outside of my, outside of the box. And then I had friends requesting my book. They're like, I want to read it. So I now have, like, 4 friends reading this book. And it's so incredible to me that, like, something that I thought would never get finished, and it's still in the works of being finished. Like, it just is the first rough draft. I have to do the second draft and publish it. But, like, the fact that I wrote 74,000 words and that my friends are reading it and giving me feedback and was just so cool to me. And what's crazy to me about this whole experience is that I literally started this as just a hobby. Like, I was like, there's no way I think I'll ever finish this. Like, I really don't think I will, but I did. And I finished it in exactly 3 months after I started writing. And I wrote the outline like on August 5th. And then I started really writing in September, and then I finished the book in early December. So like from start to finish of the first draft was 4 months, which is crazy for like a first-time writer. Like, I think in the world, only 1% of people who start a novel actually finish it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have officially joined the 1% of the world that have finished their first novel. Like, that was one of the most surreal moments of my life. And the second most surreal moment of my life was printing it. Like, I printed it at Office Staples, and I had pictures in the book, and like holding that book in my hands and like flipping through the pages was so surreal. Like, I was like, I cannot believe I'm holding my finished rough draft novel. Like, this is incredible. Like, if I could go back in time and show myself like how far I would go with this, like, I would have been blown away. I would have been like, there's no way you finished that. Like, how did you finish that? Like, you didn't even know what to say in the first sentence. Like, there were crickets chirping when I first started, but it was just incredible. Like, one of the, I would say, top 5 moments in my life was holding that novel in my hand and being like, I wrote this and I love this work. Like, I legit am so proud of it. I love it. And I'm more than happy to share it with my friends because I am so proud of it. Like, that is incredible to me. Like, I'm so happy because I was in a really low point in my life, and that all changed after I started writing. Like, it just completely changed my life, like, in the best possible way. So anyway, I'm gonna read the next prompt. Developing characters. How do you approach character development? Do you have a specific method for creating characters? So when it comes to creating characters, when I first started, I was really like nervous because I was like, I don't know how to create this character. I have no idea, like, how do I make this person? And I know a lot of people, like, they will base their characters on personality traits of themselves, but that's not something I like to do. I prefer to let my characters be their own person. None of them are based on my personality. And in fact, the only thing I base on my characters from myself is some of my experiences. I let them like kind of share with me, whether it's like emotional experiences or adventure experiences. I will definitely use some of my own personal experiences to write that. But as for their own personalities, like, I really let my characters take their own shape. Like, I just let the book kind of guide who my characters are. Like, I don't try to make them into something that I want them to be or force them to act a certain way. Like, I really want my characters to be as real as possible. And I think this has really helped me as a writer to allow my adventures to really impact me and inspire me. And I also believe that I'm a very spiritual person. Like, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus. So I do say a prayer and I say, like, Heavenly Father, like, please help that my guardian angels will help guide this story, that they'll help inspire these characters, these people that mean a lot to me. Anyway, so world building. What techniques do you use to build immersive worlds in your novels? So world building is something I really love doing. I do a ton of research. Like, a lot of my books take place in Mars because I'm a science fiction writer. And so I've done so much research on Mars and what it would be like to have a colony there. And it's been so exciting to research this stuff because I was a physics minor in college. And so I understand a lot of the science behind, like, this stuff. And so it's helped me so much. Like, you know, I've been reviewing the periodic table from chemistry and like learning about like the speed of sound and like the speed of light and like all these different things that I already knew about, but like I'm just getting a refresher. And it's really cool to like put this in my book, like things I've already learned. So my next prompt is overcoming writer's block. What strategies do you use to overcome writer's block, and how do you stay motivated during challenging times? So for me, for instance, like, I'm writing 3 novels right now, which is crazy to me because I started with 1 and I really didn't think it would get finished. But I'm already quarter way through my second novel now, and I'm already started the outlines of 2 other novels that I'm really excited about. So basically, how do I get through writer's block? Well, actually, I've gone through a lot of writer's block recently with my second novel. This book, I think it was hard for me to write because my first characters are boys, and I'm not a boy. So like my main character starting as a boy was like kind of hard for me to write because I don't know how boys generally think. Like I'm really just guessing, like based on like the boys in my life, like my brothers and my husband and people that I love. Like I'm really just basing them, and people I know, friends, teachers, like people that I love. Like I'm really basing these characters on them, like, and I'm just guessing how they would think, how they would act, like, so I'm doing my best, but it is definitely challenging, but I do really feel inspired by these characters, and that's why I chose to write about them, even though it's a little outside of my, like, it's kind of outside of the box for me. So something that I realized that really helped me, so I would do a lot of research, I would watch a lot of movies on Mars, and then once I had researched enough, I would just let myself get into the flow state. And that's really hard to do, but like once you have researched enough, you really can get into the flow state because you know enough to write about what you're talking about. Because if you don't know the research and you don't know your characters and you don't know your storyline, like it's really hard to write because you're just sitting there like, I don't know what to say. Like you have no inspiration. Like you need research. You need, your own inspired creativity. Like it is so essential. And something else that has helped me so much with writer's block, and this is something I've used on my third book, is I used imagination sessions. I will turn on music that really inspires me, and I will sit and I will just imagine the world, and I will imagine the stories and the characters, and I will just immerse myself in their world like I am watching them and I'm in the background. And that has truly helped me so much to just like feel like I am there, and it's helped me overcome writer's block because I know what I'm talking about now.